Only 18% of gym members uses the gym consistently. But what about the other 82%? Most of us, when we signed up to the gym, we had an envision of becoming a healthier and fitter version of ourselves. Most are not getting the result they hope for or envision when they first sign up. This makes it tough to stay motivated, and many end up paying every month without using the gym. You see, in the gym, there's a lot of focus on building muscle. But if your priority is to get healthier, improve your energy level, increase testosterone, reduce inflammation, reducing the risk of developing cardiovascular diseases and diabetes, for majority of people, it's about losing fat. But is the workout programs we all do in the gym the most effective way to burn fat? In this video, I'm testing the most popular workout routines for losing weight to find what's most effective for fat loss. We're gonna test out the 6 most popular workout styles that people do. We're also gonna use scientific research to determine the best possible way to approach each workout styles for effective fat loss. We're also gonna rate them based on how effective each style is for building muscle and also the other health benefit that each workout styles offer. In the end, I'm gonna have a complete overview of all the pros and cons so you know what's the most effective way for you to reach your goals. I'm also going to tell you how long it will take you to reach your fat loss goals with minimal efforts, 2 times a week, 30 minutes each session, medium effort, 3 times a week, 60 minutes each session. And for the people who don't have a job or a family, max effort, 5 times a week, 1.5 hours each session. Seriously, how do people have that much time? The first test is long distance running. I'm gonna run for 45 minutes only at 60 to 70% of my max heart rate, also known as zone 2. And I reckon I'll burn about 303 calories. And I know many of you doesn't consider 45 minutes of running long distance running, but the intensity still represents how effective long distance running is for fat loss. We're going to count the calories we can burn from each workout using a chest strap heart rate monitor. Now I know it's not the most precise way to measure burned calories, but it's a common denominator. It still shows us the difference in effect between each type of workout. We're not going to count the warm-up phase of the workout because it doesn't tell the real story of how effective a workout style is for fat loss, and that's what we're trying to figure out. 45 minutes on the treadmill, done, and we had an average heart rate of 132. My max heart rate is 193, and the total calories we burned was 418 calories. And I gotta be honest with you, I thought it was a little bit boring for my taste personally, but yeah, 418 calories, a lot more than I expected, so not bad. Here's the pros and the cons of zone 2 running. The con is obviously that you don't build any strength and muscle with this type of training if we don't consider the minimal leg gains you might get as a novice just by starting to run. It's excellent for cardiovascular health though, which for most people should be more important because it has a bigger impact on their overall health. The biggest pro in my opinion about this type of training is that it's super convenient. There's no need to commute 20 minutes to the gym and 20 minutes back. You can just step out to your house, do a quick warm-up and just get started at once. But the question is, can you get a better fat burning effect from running if you mix up the intensity, like varying from zone 1 and zone 4 instead of constantly being in zone 2? A randomized controlled trial looked at the effect of HIIT, high-intensity interval training, versus MICT, moderate intensity continuous training, 3 times a week for 8 weeks. They took 40 students with the average BMI of 29.5, which is about the average in America right now. They split the student evenly in HIIT and MICT groups, and the results were astonishing. Check this out. Males in the HIIT group lost 2.4 times more body fat than the MICT group, with the average person losing almost 24% of their body fat. The females in the HIIT group lost 3.8 times more body fat than the MICT group, with the average person losing almost 27% of their body fat. When it comes to triglyceride, an indicator for metabolism, the lipid metric that correlates the most with all-cause mortalities, males in the HIIT group reduced their triglyceride with 16.39% on average, while the females in the HIIT group reduced it with 18.91% on average. Both the females and the males in the MICT group noticed no significant reduction in their triglyceride. Low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, also known as LDL-C, also known as the bad cholesterol as many doctors call it, which is associated with causing plaque in arteries. Males in the HIIT group reduced it on average 22.13%, and the females reduced it on 11.73%. The MICT group, both females and males reduced it on average 8.04%. The HIIT group worked out for 28 minutes, doing 4 rounds of 4 minutes at 85 to 90% of their max heart rate, followed by 3 minutes at 50 to 60% of their max heart rate on the treadmill. The MICT group did 35 minutes at 60 to 70% of their max heart rate, also on the treadmill. The HIIT group workout was also shorter than the moderate intensity group. The next test is going to be HIIT on the treadmill. I'm going to do exact same workout plan as the people in the study did. 4 rounds of 4 minutes where I'm going to be 85 to 90% of my max heart rate. That is going to be tough. And plus 3 minutes with being at 50 to 60% of my max heart rate. And I'll reckon I'll burn 420 calories on this one. Let's go. HIIT run done, and my total run time was only 16 minutes. I don't know if you can see it. The reason for that is because to get my heart rate down to 50 to 60%, I couldn't continue to run. But with only 16 minutes run time and a total time of 28 minutes of the exercise, I burned a total of 353 calories. 353 calories. It wasn't as much as I expected, to be honest. But we need to take into consideration it was only for 28 minutes versus the long distance running, which was for 45 minutes. In this workout, I only actively ran for 16 minutes because I needed to get my max HR down to 50 to 60% after being at 85 to 90%, which is really difficult. I had to stop moving. I even had to stop standing. I needed to lay down to get down to 50 to 60% of a max HR. It wasn't necessarily for me to recover, but I wanted to replicate the study as close as possible. And even if I only ran for 16 minutes of that 28-minute session, I burned a whopping 378 calories in only 28 minutes. So to compare that to zone 2, I burned 418 calories in 45 minutes in zone 2, which is an average of 279 calories every 30 minutes. HIIT running, I burned 353 calories in 28 minutes. In 30 minutes, it would have been 378 calories. That HIIT routine is 35% more effective than zone 2. That is massive, especially if you consider the compounding effect over many workouts. Con with HIIT running that it's still not much strength and muscle that are being built while doing this type of training. The pros is that it's still convenient and it's great for your cardiovascular health. And based on the study that we looked at, since HIIT is more effective for fat loss, but just simply mixing up the intensity, you can drastically improve other crucial health metrics like triglyceride and LDL cholesterol. There's also a lot of evidence that suggests that HIIT is superior than moderate intensity consistent training for improving VO2 max. Personally, I thought that workout was a little bit tough, but I love it when it's a little bit challenging. But I can completely understand that For some, probably majority, would prefer moderate intensity running versus high intensity running. So I'm not going to rate these workout types based on fun because I feel like that is very subjective. But that being said, enjoyment is a very important metric when it comes to fat loss, especially for long-term consistency. I know in this video, we're just trying to figure out what is the most effective workout type for fat loss. But I want to emphasize that being consistent over many years is what has the biggest impact on your health. Even if something just only makes you 1% better each time you do it, if you stick with it over time, it has a massive impact. Let me show you what 1% can do for your life. All right, let's imagine this is your baseline. And let's say you get 1% worse every day. For a week, you might not notice a major difference. You might feel something's a little bit off, but nothing crazy. But if you continue like that for a longer period of time, it makes a massive difference. If you may go 1 year becoming 1% worse every single day, in a year, you'll become 4.7, almost 5 times worse than your original baseline. And that's a massive difference. But it can also have the opposite effect. If you only become 1% better every single day, in a week you might not notice a massive difference. But in a year, if you get 1% better every time, in a year you also become 4.7 times better than your original baseline. And that's a big difference. But here's the thing. Life isn't linear as my example. Being 1% better or 1% worse usually has a compounding effect. You working out regularly leads to other health-seeking behaviors. Like, have you ever noticed when people get their whoop, they become fitness influencer overnight? They start posting about their stories, about their sleep scores and recovery scores and them taking ice baths, saunas, and even reposting about Huberman podcast clips about how dangerous microplastic are. Like, chill, forget it. You're a fitness influencer. Anyways, my point is that you working out regularly usually leads to other health-seeking behaviors, like you eating healthier, sleeping better, drinking less, and the opposite is true as well. If you don't work out regularly, it's more likely that you don't give a crap about eating ultra-processed food, you don't give a crap about your sleep, or even your health. Okay, so we know that HIIT is more effective than moderate intensity when it comes to running for fat loss. But what if you wanted to build some muscle in the process? And can you do HIIT with weightlifting? And would that be as effective for fat loss? Next is HIIT combined with weightlifting. I'm going to do an AMRAP, which stands for as many rounds as possible, for 45 minutes. One round is 14 kettlebell push-ups, then 12 kettlebell rows, and then followed by 12 kettlebell swings, and then 12 kettlebell lunges. That's tough. And then 50 calories on the assault bike. Assault bike is probably the most effective machine for burning calories. Just to let you know about that. I'm going to apply the same principles as we did the last test, the HIIT running routine, which means 4 minutes where I'm at 85 to 90% of max heart rate, then followed by 3 minutes where I'm at 50 to 60% of max heart rate, and continue like that until the times run out. Usually when I do an AMRAP, I just go all out and take breaks in between, but I just want to replicate it as much as possible to see if we mix in some strength, if it's still as effective for fat loss. So this circuit here is actually part of my workout at TLA. It's part of my program, but usually it's an AMRAP, like I mentioned, which means that I just try my best to get as many rounds as possible. Doesn't have to measure my heart rate. And that usually means it's more effective for fat loss. And usually we also start with a compound movement just to maximize strength gains, which is important because we want to feed our ego. And yeah, before start moving over to the conditioning workout, which is this part. And this is actually the part that makes us healthier. But if you want to try my science-backed program, check out the link in the description. I estimate I'll burn 600 calories on this one. Workout complete, and in 45 minutes we burned as much as 490 calories. It wasn't as difficult as it usually is because I had to take 3 minutes break every 7 minutes, and I had to lie down with this routine also because it's really difficult to get down your heart rate down to 50 to 60% if you even walking or standing or taking a break or continue working passively. I don't think it's possible. So I had to lie down again to get my heart rate down, and yeah, it's probably why I didn't burn as much calories as I expected, because usually I do this routine, I burn around 600 calories in 45 minutes, but almost half the time I was lying down, which means that it wasn't as effective, but 490 calories is still a good amount of calories, and we managed to build some muscle also, so that is nice. I burned a total of 490 calories in 45 minutes in that session. On average, that's 327 calories every 30 minutes. Pros: it's still very good for your cardiovascular health. While it's not traditional weightlifting, most people can still build strength and muscle this way. It's time efficient also, combining cardio and strength at the same time instead of doing one each individually saves you a lot of time. Next up is CrossFit, which is essentially like HIIT having a baby with weightlifting, Olympic lifting, and also gymnastic. I know, HIIT is promiscuous. I just signed up to a random CrossFit class, and how effective a session might be varies from class to class. But here's the session I did. The workout type is called every minute on the minute, also known as EMOM. That means 1 minute on the rower, followed by 1 minute with farmer's carry, then 1 minute with box step up, then 1 minute with burpees, and then 1 minute with wall balls, and then rest for 1 minute. This is like CrossFit Light, but this type of CrossFit workout is actually very effective for fat loss. In 35 minutes, I burned 458 calories. So that's a total of 393 calories every 30 minutes. That is very effective for fat loss. But remember, in this workout, we only took a break for 1 minute every 6 minutes. I think the hybrid HIIT routine that we did is as effective as CrossFit for fat loss, but we had to take longer breaks then. We had to take 3 minutes breaks every 7 minutes. And in reality, it's not necessary to take that long of a break to recover, but it was done to replicate the HIIT run test that we did earlier. And I still believe that the HIIT run test is actually still the most effective way for fat loss, more effective than CrossFit still, because in that test we did take 3 minutes breaks every 7 minutes where we had to lie down to get our heart rate down to zone 1. I think it's safe to say, since they are so close, that if we spent the rest period, which is over 40% of the workout, just slow walking instead of lying down, just slow walking in zone 2, the result would have been a lot better. And likely we burn more calories than the CrossFit class because it was pretty close. That's why CrossFit get the same rating as the HIIT strength and cardio. I rate it less effective than HIIT running for fat loss. But the pros of CrossFit classes is that there's no planning necessary. You just show up to class and the workout is already planned for you. The volume, intensity are already decided for you. It's also great for cardiovascular health, and even though it's not bodybuilding, it's still very effective for building strength and muscle. And community aspect in CrossFit is very good. It's very social and welcoming. It's one of the main reasons why a lot of people in the CrossFit community are so loyal and consistent. Alright, let's talk about the cons in CrossFit and why I personally don't do it. So with CrossFit, there's usually a high risk of injury. It takes months and probably years to learn the proper gymnastic technique and doing the Olympic lifts correctly. And many in CrossFit classes, they don't have time to learn that, so they just wing it. And that in a combination of the time pressure that there's in CrossFit, it can lead to high risk of injury. Honestly, just talking about it, I think I just tore my rotator cuff. Also, the workouts are very difficult. I don't care how much weight you lifted in the past or how much running you've done in the past. Combining heavy lifting and running takes time to adapt. In the beginning, your body isn't used to it. It might pump too much blood into your muscle, leaving less blood for your organs. That's why many people, regardless of how fit they are, feel nauseous or even throw up when they start CrossFit. I hate this machine. Is it just me, or do you also feel super vulnerable doing this machine? As a man, you can understand what I mean. The next test is bodybuilding programs, the most popular workout type that people do in the gym. And we will be doing Jeff Nippard's science-based hypertrophy program. This program uses the exercises that are most effective for hypertrophy according to research. And if you don't know what hypertrophy is, or if you're from Essex, it means the exercises that stimulates the most muscle growth. It emphasizes slow, eccentric, and also the stretch position. So there's a lot of misconception in the gym about how the lockout is what's most effective for muscle building, but that is not actually true according to science. So there's more research that has shown that the stretch position is actually what's more important for muscle building. I bought this program almost 2 years ago and I loved it back then. I actually incorporated some of the principles from his programs into the programs we have at TLA to optimize muscle growth with high intensity training. We're doing chest day today, and it's been a really long time since I've done his program, but if I remember correctly, each session took about 45 to 60 minutes. So let's see how many calories we can burn during that time. Let's go. So I burned a whopping 239 calories in 53 minutes. But that being said, I did do a push workout. If I did legs, I'd probably burn more calories. But would it be as effective as HIIT or CrossFit for burning calories? Probably not. I know a lot of you are going to defend bodybuilding workouts, saying that building muscle has a compounding effect because 1 pound of fat burns only 2 to 3 calories a day, while 1 pound of muscle burns 7 to 10 calories per day. But do you know how hard it is to gain 10 pounds of lean muscle? Especially if you don't enjoy your workouts or the exercises that you do. But let's say you gain 10 pounds of lean muscle. Shit. It means that you just earned yourself the privilege of having 1 whole extra banana a day. It's actually only 3/4 of a whole banana, but you get the gist. I'm just joking here. Weightlifting has a legit compounding effect on fat loss, but you need to do it over many years and turn many pounds of fat into muscle before you notice a difference in your metabolism. It's the same with zone 2 running. It might not burn as much calories per session as HIIT running, but over time, it helps your body use fat as a fuel more efficiently and boost your metabolism. The key is choosing something you enjoy and sticking with it for years, because it takes time to see these benefits. All right, a pro about weightlifting is that it's the most effective way to build muscle and building strength. A con is that a lot of people struggles to be consistent with regular weightlifting programs. That's why you can find your average gymnast or CrossFitters or swimmers looking better than your average gym member. Not because their training is superior for muscle growth, because it isn't, but they are just more consistent with their training. But those who can be consistent with weightlifting or bodybuilding programs, they see great result in muscle gains. And also, for many, they sort of experience an identity shift. Like being the big dog in the gym becomes their identity, or being a bodybuilder becomes their identity. And this identity shift can lead to steroids, clenbuterol, other drugs that enhance how you look, but is terrible for your health. Why they do that, you're probably wondering. As a natural, your progress slows down significantly after year 1 and year 2. Regardless how much time you spend in the gym and how perfect your diet is, gains are incremental after the second year. Also, another con with weightlifting and bodybuilding programs is that they don't offer much cardiovascular health benefits. Fuck. Next is paddle. If you're from Kansas, it's like a European version of pickleball. I burned 486 calories in 50 minutes of getting wrecked in paddle. The reason why I chose paddle is because it's easy to get started compared to the gym. There's no intimidating factor for beginners, like many beginners feel uncomfortable in the gym at the start because they don't feel like they belong there, or that they don't know what they're doing, or that they feel like they're being judged. Paddle is not like that. Paddle is very social, which helps with consistency. Cons: no significant muscle building you're doing with paddle, except maybe for your wrist and forearms, but most of us are getting enough training on those body parts already. Also, it can be expensive if you want to do it many times a week. Alright, let's talk about how fast you can reach your goals with the most effective workout style for burning calories. And let's say your goal is to burn 10 pounds of body fat. 10 pounds of body fat is about 35,000 calories. 1 pound is about 3,500 calories. And let's say you don't work out now and all other variables are exactly the same. I know it's not realistic, but just stick with me here, okay? Let's start off with minimal effort, which is twice a week, 30 minutes each workout. All right, so if you work out, this is minimal effort, twice a week, 30 minutes each workout. And let's say you burn 400 calories each workout. That is 800 calories you're burning every week. So it would take you 44 weeks, also known as 10 months, to burn 10 pounds of body fat. But if you increase the volume a little bit more, like 3 times a week, 1 hour session, I think this is the most optimal one, by the way, and you burn 700 calories each session. In a week, that is 2,100 calories. And yeah, it's 2,100 calories in a week. That is 16.6 weeks. I'm gonna write 17 week, also known as 4 months. Would take you 17 weeks, 4-ish months to lose 10 pounds of body fat. But if you can put in maximum effort, like 5 times a week and 1.5 hours each session, I wouldn't recommend this one because I don't think nobody has that much spare time really to do this long term, but this is just a hypothetical. And let's say you burn 1,000 calories each session. In a week, that is 5,000 calories. And that would take 7 weeks, less than 2 months, to lose 10 pounds of fat. But that last part is unrealistic for most people. And you surely burn yourself out going so hard, unless you're unemployed or unless you're a 19-year-old. That's how fast you could potentially lose 10 pounds of body fat from workouts. But in reality, life isn't that simple. Life isn't that linear. And also when it comes to fat loss, it becomes more and more difficult the more fat you start losing. But here's the thing. I think for most people, you can actually lose 10 pounds of body fat a lot faster than what I estimate here. Because once you start working out regularly, you will start developing other health-seeking behaviors. Other behaviors that will speed up the fat loss process. Again, it's super important that you choose something you enjoy, something you can stick with for the years to come, because it will have a compounding effect. And believe me, that have a massive effect on your fat loss, and you can definitely lose 10 pounds of body fat faster than what I estimate there. Who do you think is gonna stay in better shape long term? Person who burns out after 1 year of intensive training and then goes back to unhealthy habits afterward, or the person who stick with a more manageable routine for 3, 5, or even 10 years and develop more and more health-seeking habits each year. You can reach your fat loss goals no matter where you're starting from. Even if you only can work out twice a week for 30 minutes, it's possible as long as you stick with it long enough. And consistency is what's gonna keep you in great shape for life. And it doesn't matter of the workout style. It doesn't have just to be weightlifting or just running. It can be a mix of them both, a hybrid like the cool kids like to call it now. Personally, I like best weightlifting twice a week for strength and playing paddle once a week for cardio and social benefits. But For the last 6 months, I've just been keeping it simple, I gotta be honest. I've been really busy, so I've just been doing 45 minutes HIIT circuits with cardio and weightlifting on TLA 3 times a week for strength and cardiovascular benefits. Just prioritizing maximum health benefits with the short time I have available to dedicate to exercise. So yeah, it's been little to no paddle in the last 6 months, but don't you worry, I haven't lost my forearm or wrist gains. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay healthy, keep thriving, and I hope I could see you guys on the next one. Peace.